The Shiba Inu development team is back in action, and they aren't joking either. We are on the brink of 548 trillion. The speed of whales is enormous. Someone revealed a huge secret. Thanks to this update, the $1 might be within reach, at last. With one caveat though, everything is altered by this. How though is this really playing out? And what gives me such a rush? Okay, I'll try to clarify. Important notice. Once again, the Shiba Inu community is on edge due to some concerning news. Satoshi Kusama, the head developer of Shiba Inu, has once again vanished from social media. Nothing has been spoken by him in the 2 weeks after his previous tweet. Nothing has changed, no clues, no communication. Now those of you who have been around for a while may recall the previous instance of this. It was terrible. The Shiba Inu's value plummeted. Quickly things became unstable. Interest waned among the public. Frustrated investors felt like all the momentum was simply vanishing. Some felt the developers weren't going far enough, and they were furious, as if they were content to let events unfold as they pleased. However, Satoshi unexpectedly returned to the internet. The atmosphere changed drastically as soon as he did. The community's lights went out, and optimism came back. The public began to wonder if the developers were secretly hard at work, that something significant might be on the horizon. I see that we're back here now. Once again, the sense of loss is intensified by this departure. Concern among investors is growing. Everyone in town is wondering, what the fuck is going on? Again, is there anything they're withholding from us? Will we be experiencing yet another difficult period? Finally breaking is more than a month's silence. Satoshi Kusama released his most recent tweet on March 28. Worried about the whereabouts of the enigmatic Shiba Inu leader. The Shiba Inu community was already abuzz with queries and wild ideas by that point. The Shiba Inu team, led by project marketer Lucy, quickly responded to the message to comfort the community. They said Kusama's disappearance was not without cause. He was engrossed in his task, constructing and attending to the expansion of the Shiba Inu environment. As for Kusama's return, he didn't merely provide a brief update, he risked it all. Over the course of 2 lengthy posts on X, he revealed his activities while overseas. The focus wasn't solely on progress though. Astrology, God, and an earnest spiritual quest were topics he touched on. He insisted that he had just completed an extremely unusual cosmic activation. This was definitely not a crypto update. It sounded more like a science fiction film. The next natural inquiry is, why is this happening now? Is he getting back into something more substantial than coding and tokens? On the other hand, could he be working quietly on Shiba Inu's future? Now things really start to heat up. Multiple references to the team's forthcoming Layer 3 solution were made back in March. Using the already established Shibarium network as a foundation, this massive expansion is taking place. The fact that work on this L3 layer began more than a year ago just adds to its intrigue. Concurrent with its resurgence, Kusama secured $12 million in funding from prominent investment firms. What little is known about this Layer 3 network suggests that it is well planned and will make use of the TRET token, making transactions quicker and cheaper while also improving users' data privacy. Clearly, a great deal of effort, concentration and time would be required to accomplish something of this magnitude, and these aren't little goals. Because of this, a lot of people in the community think this most recent lack of communication could indicate 2 things. There are 2 possible explanations. Either Kusama is completely absorbed in guiding the Shiba Inu team to develop this next-gen solution, or he is embarking on a new journey of self-discovery, and will return with more cryptic insights at his own pace. The timing for Shiba Inus is really nuts though, regardless of everything else that's happening. Shiba Inu is currently getting close to a very difficult level of resistance. It has the potential to put the bull's strength to the test. Belief is being pushed to the brink as the market faces pressure. Let me tell you something. It is impossible to overlook the narrative told by the on-chain numbers. Wallets that are now short on funds are holding more than 548 trillion Shiba Inu. Wow, that's a huge sum. The vast majority of Shiba Inu owners are basically sitting on a loss. I am terribly disappointed. The community is being burdened by this enormous burden. The Shiba Inu, though, is surviving. It has shown remarkable resiliency by avoiding the predicted crash. Still, the stress is palpable. Shiba Inu might go back into a tailspin if it fails to break through this barrier, but a successful break could alter the market's overall mood. That is why the developer's recent silence is so perplexing. Quietness is absolutely necessary for this project right now. The community is in dire need of direction, leadership, or evidence that the squad is still committed. Long disappearances and mysterious tweets are unnecessary. What is required is an enormous update, something substantial, something real, to restore everyone's faith in this project. Because remaining silent is not just annoying, but perhaps dangerous, given how much is at stake. The current price chart for Shiba Inu shows a little but consistent upward trend. It is still quite close to the 1.00 12 zone, but it is gradually moving closer to that obstacle at 1.00 13. It may not appear significant at first glance, but when you consider the bigger picture, it becomes apparent. The reason behind this is that the current market value of Shiba Inus exceeds $10 billion, with over 866 trillion of them being retained at higher prices. So a large number of holders are essentially doing nothing more than sitting there hoping. One could go as far as to claim that these wallets are eagerly anticipating a breakout in order to finally cash out. The story gets more intriguing from here on out. Big money, or whales, is on the move. An report from U Today states that the inflow and outflow data shows a substantial holder influx that has increased by about 192% in the past 30 days. The Shiba Inu is being swarmed by whales. They usually have a good explanation for their hoarding behavior. The current conjecture is this: perhaps some major news is about to be released by the developers. Perhaps this lack of sound is more than simply a passing fad. There's a trap. Perhaps they are aware that Shiba Inu's price is about to hit a tipping point, and they are getting ready to release a big upgrade that could make it go over the edge. Consider that for a second. Everything is riding on this pricing. There is a great deal of opposition, and the community is very anxious. This is the perfect opportunity for the developers to show that Shiba Inu is real and worth believing in. Perhaps they aren't being lazy. Rather, they are preparing behind the scenes to release something that can send Shiba Inu soaring. As for the whales, possibly they are aware. Like the last time, when an unexpected return brought updates and momentum, maybe they've seen this pattern before. They are currently making preparations to position themselves before competitors do the same. Because the developers are now in a position where they are unable to escape the mounting pressure, their delivery is required. Plus the astute investors. It appears that they have already placed a wager on it. And if you delve any further into the data, particularly what you shared today, the indications become even more apparent that something major is simmering beneath the surface. It is equally noteworthy that outflows have decreased by almost 71%, even though large holder inflows have increased by nearly 192%, an enormous decline. This indicates that whales are staying put. Either they are remaining put, or they are entering new ones. They have no plans to flee. They seem to be becoming comfortable. Such actions typically indicate self-assurance. Even though just around 10% of Shiba Inu holders are currently profitable, long-term holders aren't giving up, and there have been a lot of unrealized losses. They have no plans to move. It is as if they anticipate an impending event. As rumors began to circulate, Lucy, a very engaged member of the development team, dropped a message that had people abuzz. Though she refrained from providing clear confirmation, her remarks said plenty. She essentially said the obvious: Shiba Inu is destined to serve as a foundation, similar to Bitcoin.